The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Sober Saturday. I'm in a really good mood, which doesn't necessarily mean that's good for you. But it depends on who you are. Because Dion made a decision. I made a decision this morning. Talked to several people yesterday about what I really want to do. And I do want to help people. But in order for me to help people, I've got to kind of clear the playing field a little bit first. Yes, I'm wearing a shirt underneath this. Make it look like I'm, getting ready to go do a porno there. My chest hair leaping out of my shirt. Now that just looks stupid. Okay, there we go. All right, it's blue on blue. All right. It's a Doomerville shirt. If you don't know who Doomerville was, go check out the Bronco champions for the 50th Super Bowl, and you'll know. So I've decided what I'm going to do. This is going to give you a little idea of what I'm going to be doing. All right, and I'm changing. I've given myself a title. Fuck you, if everybody else can do it, I'm going to do it too. Did I say Saturday? Okay, well, happy Soper Sunday then. I hope it's Sunday because I plan on watching Broncos in 35 minutes. 35 minutes. I haven't even set up my shit. All right, so there's a post. I'm going to read you a little bit of it. Just a little bit. The recovery watchdog has arrived. I've had enough. For years, I watched people in recovery get used, misled, and even hurt, all in the name of help. Fake coaches selling $1,000 promises, silver livings pocketing checks while clients relapse in silence. Programs built to make money, not save lives. Not anymore. Under the name Mysticopolis, the recovery watchdog, I'm launching a new project. It's a real news style reports that expose abuse, scams, and exploitation within the recovery industry. That's what I will be doing next. I'm going to look for a place for me to record. It will not be here. And I'm looking, I'm going to try and be on radio. We will see. Yes, I'm using the name Mysticopolis. A lot of people do not know that name. It is another name that I go by. It is my stage name. No, I'm not a dancer. I'm a drummer. When I go on stage, I turn into Mysticopolis when I do that stuff. And he's not as nice as me. He's not as kind as me. In fact, he's kind of a dick. He's a drummer. Man, I know. I probably shouldn't use it. It's just a name. Anyway. It is hooked up, but I'm in a basement, and so I have to tape it to the wall. So it's hooked up. I got to tune it in because sometimes it's on 7, so I got to put it over here. Sometimes it's on 4, so I got to put it over here. Sometimes it's on 31, and I got to put it all the way over here. All right, so that's what I got to get done. All right, today we're talking about keeping optimism afloat. It is today's daily reflection. I'm going to skip the daily funnies. Broncos are more important than jokes at the moment. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I am your host with the most neon, Dion. If you're here, please say hello whether watching the live or the rewatch. Let's get to it. Michelle says, thank you. I'm out of my sleeping aid and I'm going on 24 hours so far. Man. I go knock your damn self out. All right. So I'm gonna cover the reflection first. Keeping optimism afloat. The other steps can keep most of us sober and somehow functioning, but step 11 can keep us growing. All right. So steps 10, 11, and 12 aren't just maintenance steps. They are the growing steps. The Donkos are a joke today. You best watch your mouth. Are you saying they're a joke? Because, well, we don't have Pat Sertan today, but we do have Greenlaw back. So, you know, it won't matter because Greenlaw is just going to make him eat dirt all day. All right. I don't have time to talk shit about football right now. Language of the Heart 240. A sober alcoholic finds it much easier to be optimistic about life. Optimism is the natural result of finding myself gradually able to make the best rather than the worst of each situation. As physical sobriety continues, I come out of the fog, gain a clear perspective, and I'm better able to determine what course of action to take. As vital as a physical sobriety is, I can achieve a greater potential for myself by developing an ever increasing willingness to avail myself of the guidance and direction of my higher power. Oh, we don't have Mims today? Yeah, Marvin Mims is out today too. So that means we are down, not that we don't have, three other receivers that are great, but Mims is our big receiver. What's he out with? Wasn't it an ankle? Yeah. So out Mims, out PS2. But most of my listeners are not in Colorado. Most of my listeners are actually on the East Coast. I think it's all my swearing. I think it's my roughness. People on the East Coast are like, man, this West Coast guy got it on. But Colorado used to be my biggest state. Not anymore. It's like third now. Let's go find out. Let's find out real quick. I'm going to find out. I know I'm wasting time, but I'm curious. And I want you to know too, because I know that you want to know. Actually, California is number one. New Jersey, Georgia, Minnesota, New York, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, Colorado. Colorado is 10th. You'd think I'd be biggest in my state, but I haven't been doing as much in the state, so that's why that is. All right. So thank you, California. Thank you, Cali. Appreciate you. All right. I'll get back to this. My ability to do so comes from my learning and practicing the principles of the AA program. The melding of my physical and spiritual sobriety produces the substance of a more positive life. Now, I went ahead and did today's daily reflection because we had our meeting last night, and it was on the 11th. It was pretty much on prayer and meditation, and I heard a lot of great suggestions for meditation. A lot of great suggestions. Going to a meeting and just listening. That is meditating. Play in the dirt. Listen to music. There were all sorts of ways to meditate. So find your way. The key is this: start small. Right? If you feel like you're an idiot because because it's uncomfortable in the beginning, you feel weird because you haven't done it before. So it can feel uncomfortable, right? So start small. Start where people can't see you. Why is Dion Miller's post no longer available? What the fuck's going on with that? Okay, the original poster must have took it down. All right. When it comes to the practice of AA Step 11, sought through prayer of meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Whew! That's a lot in one sentence. I'm sure I'm still very much in the beginner's class, almost a case of arrested development. Okay. And they're going to go on to say my 24th year and 24th AA anniversary. And I was over here thinking, well, I'm at 9 years. Am I a little bit more advanced? Clearly, I'm not. If Bill was at 24 years and I'm learning from him, probably not. I'm probably still a beginner then. And I'm okay with that, actually. Because what does that mean? It means that you and I are in the same place. And I like that. So. Around me, I see many people who make a far better job of relating themselves to God than I do. Certainly, it must be said that I haven't made any progress overall at all over these years. I simply confess that I haven't made the progress that I might have made. My opportunities being what they have been and still are. My 24th AA anniversary is just ahead. I haven't had a drink in all this time. In fact, I've scarcely been tempted at all. This is some evidence that I must have taken and ever since maintained step one. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step one was easy for me. Was it? Was step one easy? I see step one a little easy, a little different than other people. Okay. However long you drank is however long it took you to do step one. Step one was the hardest one for me. It took me 15 years to do step one. But first time it took me 5 years. Second time it took me 15. Okay. Out of my drinking career, I drank for 20 years. All told. All told of sobriety, I have 22. So I'm a little ahead of that. Well, I think I got it in, no, 21. So I made it 1 year past, right? Right. So then at the very beginning, I was fortunate enough to receive a tremendous spiritual awakening and was instantly made conscious of the presence of God and restored to sanity, at least so far as alcohol is concerned. And that's what he got. Okay. The obsession wasn't necessarily removed. It's just that he found his higher power pretty darn quick. Not beyond that, there's not much difference between you and me and Bill, right? Unless your spiritual experience was sudden and quick, then you fit into this category a little bit more, right? And I hope it did. Awesome, good for you. I wouldn't want that. Sounds very uncomfortable to me. If God gave me a burning bush, I'm reactive. I'd throw water on it. I still would. Fire, fire! There's a fire. I wonder if it was probably the one that I put up about. Yeah, it was that was so funny though. Darn it. Okay, so there's this guy, and I got to double check and make sure it's gone. Is it gone? It's gone. That's really, really uncool. All right, it was hilarious. I'm going to redo it. It says, he said, have you ever had a couple of non alcoholic beers and then decide you want some non cocaine cocaine? I'm like, that's perfect. That's perfect. You ever, you ever, you ever have a couple non-alcoholic beers and then decide you want some non-cocaine cocaine? He's saying it's dangerous. All right. All right. So he was restored to sanity as far as alcohol was concerned. Therefore, I have had no difficulty with AA's step two because in my case, its content was an outright gift. Step four, step five, dealing with the self-survey and the confessions of one defects have not been overly difficult either. Michelle says, if the bush was talking, you might not throw water on it. You're right. I would go to the doctor and ask him what's wrong with me. Because I've done enough drugs that the bushes have talked sometimes. Shrooms. Amber says, added up, I'll soon have 7 years, but 3 straight. Nice, good job. I think that stuff counts. I really do. All right. But only because I want it. All right, because then I have 21 years instead of 9. That's why I'm totally agree with it. No, but I heard Charlie Sheen's dealer diluted his crack. I believe that. I've been watching excerpts of that. I'm going to watch it. I've always been a big Charlie Sheen fan. Even when he was being a dick, I wasn't, I didn't support it, but I understood it. I understood it. I've always been a big Charlie Sheen fan. So, all right. Of course, times I failed to share my defects with the right people. At other times, I confessed their defects rather than my own. And at still other times, my confessions of defects has been more in the nature of loud complaints about my circumstances and my problems. Oh, huh. That sounds familiar. Right? The key here is acknowledging it, seeing it. So that way, when it, see, the 10th step is there because things are going to happen. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when. And you're going to make a mistake. One of those mistakes is this: you're going to be angry one day and you're going to take it out on your significant other or your mother or the person that you love the most. I guarantee you it's going to happen. You're a human being and you're an alcoholic. And it is a natural human, it is human nature for people to take out problems on the people they love the most, because every single person in the world has abandonment issues. It's a self-esteem thing, and we all do it. Okay? Maybe not 100%, but I'm sure it'd be in the 90%. It happens. We're human. All right? Tell me about your day. Well, rah, 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 rah. Watch where you dump. All right? If you're just dumping, we got to leave that for a sponsor, therapist, and maybe a significant other who understands their role, right? Where I don't do it is in the group. That is not where I do not, unless it's the group that can solve the problem, but I'm not going to dump. Now, I can certainly appreciate that if somebody is having a problem and they need the group to find the answer, that's something a little different. Okay. So, all right. Then other complaints about my. Nevertheless, I think I have usually been able to make a fairly thorough and searching job of finding and admitting my personal defects. So far as I know, there isn't at this moment a single defect or current problem of mine which hasn't been discussed with my close advisors. My stomach got a little excited because I do that too. And that makes it's like what it does, it confirms that what I am doing is correct. See, when we ask God for direction, we have got to keep our mind open so we can hear what He's trying to say. Yesterday, I couldn't quite hear it. I had other stuff in my head, but I woke up this morning and the answer, boom, it was there. People told me what I needed to do, but it didn't quite click up here yet. I needed to sleep. I needed my unconscious. What is that? Yesterday I had to do, I only played video games for like an hour last night, but that gave my brain enough time to decompress and take a look at what needs to be done. All right. Amber says, if I would have stayed sober from the first time now, I'd have like 11 years. But I'm happy with 3. No, but I get that. Yeah. You guys want to guess how much time I would have? 1989. I'd have 35 years. 36 years, actually, right now, if I would have stayed sober. And that bothers me every now and again. It used to bother me a lot when I first came back into the program because I feel like I had just failed. Right? I got over it pretty darn quick. It's okay. It's okay to have 9 years. Why? Because it's November 2nd at 11:40, and that's all that matters. It's all that matters. Right now, right here is all that matters. At least for 40 more minutes, and then the Bronco game's on. Then that will be the most important thing. All right. So he discussed with close advisors, yet this pretty well ventilated condition is nothing for self-congratulation. Long ago, I was lucky enough to see that I'd have to keep up my self-analysis or else blow my top completely. Though driven by dark necessity, this continuous self-revelation to myself and others was rough medicine to take, but years of repetition has made this job far easier. Step 9, making restitution for harms done, has fallen into much the same bracket. So, right? So, we repeat, we practice it. When I started meditating, it wasn't for very long. If all the meditation you can do is to take 3 deep breaths, Good job. It's a start. Just like prayer, like everything else that we do in the program, all we need to do is make a beginning. And the rest will kind of, as the days go on, it might get longer. You might find different ways to meditate. There's a lot of great guided meditation out there. A lot of great guided meditation. If you know any, put it in chat. Let's help some people out with that. Okay. But we need that time. Okay. We need the time. Even if you have to do it on the pooper. If that's the only time you can get, because your kids won't, it's hard to meditate when it's mom, 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 honey, mom, honey, 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 mom, babe. Yeah. Okay. Women are interrupted constantly. Men, it's a little bit different. Leave me alone. Leave dad alone. So let's share this time. All right. In step 12, carrying the AA message to others, I found little else than great joy. We alkies are folks of action. See, I prefer alky, which is short for alcoholic. We alkies, we say it all the time. We alkies, non-alkies. There we go. Now we don't have to say normies anymore. We can say non-alkies. That's kind of fun to say, at least, right? All right. Are folks of action, and I'm no exception. When action pays off as it does in AA, it's a small wonder that step 12 is the most popular and, for the most part, the easiest one of all. Was for me too. I just have a natural ability of being able to help other people. But when I help myself, I can help people even more. Yeah. Right? When I help myself, I can help even more. This little sketch of my own pilgrim's progress is offered to illustrate where I am, and maybe lots of other AAs, has still been missing something of top importance. Through lack of disciplined attention and sometimes through the lack of the right kind of faith, many of us keep ourselves year after year in a rather easy spiritual kindergarten I've just described. But almost inevitably, we became dissatisfied. We had to admit we had hit an uncomfortable and maybe a very painful sticking point. Spiritual kindergarten. All right. There was a poem. It was big for years. Everything I ever learned, I learned in kindergarten. Let's cover that a little bit because it fits right with this. It was not out before this, but it fits the spiritual kindergarten. Poem, everything I learned in kindergarten.
The text you're asking about is actually an essay, not a poem.
Okay, shut up.
All I really need to...
All right. Let's just go for the poem. All right. All I really need to know, I learned in kindergarten. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that are not yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt someone. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some, and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day some. Take a nap every afternoon. When you go out into the world, watch out for traffic. Hold hands and stick together. Be aware of wonder. Remember the little seed in that styrofoam cup? The roots go down and the plant goes up, and nobody really knows how or why. But we are all like that. Goldfish and hamsters and white mice and even little seeds in the styrofoam cup, they all die. So do we. And then remember that the Dick and Jane books, and the first word you learn, the biggest word of all, look. Right. So that would be a spiritual kindergarten for us, starting out with basics, right? Doing it small. Okay, I got 4 minutes. 12-stepping, talking at meetings, recitals of drinking histories, confessions of our defects, and what progress we have made with them no longer provide us with the release in abundant life. Our lack of growth is revealed by an unexpected calamity or big emotional upset. Perhaps we hit a financial jackpot and are surprised that this solves absolutely nothing, almost nothing, that we are still bored and miserable notwithstanding. As we usually don't get drunk on these occasions, our bright eyed friends tell us how well we are doing. But inside, we know better. We know we aren't doing well enough. We still can't handle life as life is. There must be a serious flaw somewhere in our spiritual practice and development. What then is it? The chances are better than that, than even the chances are better than even that we shall locate our trouble in our misunderstanding of neglect of AA step 11. There was. I had to practice step 11 very hard yesterday, okay, to get my answer this morning. Now, if I hadn't been practicing that for the last 9 years, I don't think that would have happened. Yeah. Because recovery and Michelle wants me to read the rest of what Amber said, so I'm gonna say the whole thing again. If I would have stayed sober from the first time to now, I'd have like 11 years, but I'm happy with my 3 because recovery is way better in sobriety, in my opinion. Okay, there you go. Yeah, are you satisfied, Michelle? My little Virgo Michelle. We got 3 Virgos here, so this whole thing needs to be perfect. If it's not, Michelle, you know I'm just giving you a hard time. I hope so. Might as well just call it. I just should call this the Virgo Trudge. All right. So the other steps can keep most of us sober and somehow functioning, but step 11 can keep us growing if we try hard and work at it continually. If we expand even 5% of the time on step 11 that we habitually and rightly lavish on step 12, the results can be wonderfully far-fetching. That is an almost uniform experience of those who constantly practice step 11. So what he is saying is this: the more you practice step 11, the better step 12 will get. There's more. There's more. There's always more. There's more than enough for all of us too. So don't worry about taking much. All right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And keep on trudging.